There is a place in southern Tamil Nadu where a river ends and an ocean begins. The Tamirabarani, one of the oldest rivers in the Tamil-speaking world, opens into the Gulf of Mannar near a small coastal village. That village is Punnai Kayal. The name translates from Tamil as Punnai Tree Lagoon. The Punnai tree, Calophyllum inophyllum, grows along this coastline and has for centuries. The lagoon is quiet, brackish, bordered by palms and fishing boats. It is, by most appearances, a place of ordinary coastal life. It was not always ordinary. In the 16th century, the Portuguese reached this coast. They were among the first European powers to establish a sustained presence in South Asia, and the Tamil Nadu coastline was strategically important for its pearl fisheries and trade routes. The Portuguese built a fort near Punnai Kayal. They established missions. They extracted, they converted, they suppressed resistance with the tools of colonial administration, which in the 16th century were frequently violent. The pearl fisheries of the Tamirabarani Delta were particularly significant. This coast, stretching toward Tuticorin, now Thoothukudi, had been a source of pearls for centuries before the Portuguese arrived. The fishermen who worked those waters were subject to new systems of control and exploitation. The missionaries who followed the soldiers had their own agenda. The layering of colonialism, conversion, and commerce on top of an existing Tamil culture produced a tension that does not dissolve simply because the Portuguese eventually left. They did leave. The fort fell into disuse. The stones were absorbed by the landscape. What remains now is fragmentary. Sections of wall, foundations, the outline of something that once asserted absolute authority over this coast. And then there are the stories. The people of Punnai Kayal and the surrounding villages have passed down accounts of spirits associated with the colonial ruins. These are not ghost stories in the Western tradition. Tamil animist tradition, which persists alongside formal Hinduism and Christianity in this region, has a sophisticated understanding of place-bound spirits, unquiet dead, and the persistence of trauma in physical locations. The term for such presences varies by community and context. What is consistent is the understanding that certain places hold certain histories, and that those histories are not inert. The colonial ruins carry multiple layers. The Portuguese soldiers who died here, the local people who resisted and were killed, the fishermen who worked under new systems of bondage, the missionaries whose conversions were not always voluntary. All of these left something in the physical landscape of Punnai Kayal. Whether that something is supernatural is, as always, a question that depends on your framework. What is not in question is the historical record. The Portuguese presence in this region is documented. The pearl fishery exploitation is documented. The ruins exist. The stories exist. What is interesting about Punnai Kayal specifically is how the ghost stories blend traditions. A colonial Portuguese soldier and a Tamil river spirit are not the same category of entity. But local legend does not always maintain that boundary cleanly. The unquiet dead of the colonial period have been absorbed into a local cosmological framework that predates them by centuries. The Portuguese brought their own ideas about the afterlife. The Tamil tradition already had a complete vocabulary for what lingers. The result is a haunting that is culturally layered in a way that few locations can match. Internationally, Punnai Kayal is not well known. It does not appear on most lists of haunted places. It has not been the subject of paranormal television. The stories here are local, carried by the people who live beside the river, who fish the lagoon, who walk past the ruins every day. That is precisely what makes them worth recording. The most persistent things are not always the most famous. This is The Location Files. Episode 23, Punnai Kayal. What does a colonial ruin hold that the colonizers never intended to leave behind? Unexplained does not mean proven. It means unfinished. And this file is still open.